The Mbappe drought is over, Maka.
Thankfully it's over. So whose drought is it now then? Who do we talk about? It's Vinicius' drought, is it now? Is that what we're talking about? Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, he's got his goals. Madrid got the win that they desperately needed because they needed a little bit of fire because, let's be honest, they've been very, very underwhelming, haven't they, since La Liga has resumed. They struggled even at home to Valladolid at the time, so they needed the victory. You know, they got Kylian on the score sheet. They've gone on the international break, as Craig said, the Nations League. What is the Nations League? And when they come back, hopefully they'll keep on gelling. They'll get better. They'll become a little bit more fluid. Defensively, they'll become a little bit stronger, and then you might see the best of them. But Barcelona, on the other hand, have got off to the most amazing start under Hansi Flick. So the pressure's on Madrid straight away, isn't it?
Yeah, Maka, you were there, obviously, during the Galactico era where you brought in these big names and tried to fit them in to maybe positions in which they wouldn't fit normally. This doesn't quite have that same tone, but obviously there is a lot of pressure on Mbappe.
Oh, yes, there is. Yes, of course there is, especially when you win the big trophies. And that's exactly what they did last year. You know, they won the league and the Champions League and the Super Cup. So to dismantle what they did, and, to put Kylian in, to move Vinicius out the way or to move him somewhere else, to move Jude somewhere else because Toni Kroos has retired, or put Fede Valverde back, then it isn't just one person replacing another person. 3 or 4 or 5 have had to move around the pitch. So it hasn't been as effective as it wanted to be. And, that does happen. It happened when Zinedine Zidane came into Madrid. It didn't necessarily happen when Luis Figo came in. But when Zidane came in, they had to find a space for him where he wanted to play. And it wasn't as easy as just putting the world's best player into the team and thinking it's going to click. It took a while. It took a number of months, actually, with Zizou to really find his place in the Real Madrid starting 11, and he was played at 4 or 5 different areas. I think with this one, it seems to be on paper a lot easier. Kylian will play up front. They were very mobile anyway, the front three last year. But as we've seen in La Liga, the results this year just haven't really gone in Madrid's favour, and they have laboured at times to get results.
And Barcelona, as you mentioned, Maka, the big surprise, really, the way in which they've won the games, obviously with Hansi Flick and hitting the ground running.
Yes, the first game was probably the hardest, down away at the Mestalla, because they had 3 17-year-olds, but game by game, they've been starting to get a little bit more experience back. And I spoke to Hansi Flick after the Valencia game, and he was very happy with the squad. And I think with a glint in his eye, he knew when Frenkie de Jong was back, when Dani Olmo was in his starting 11, when Gavi was back, there'd be a different proposition. And you can see he's just starting to instill himself, silly things like, making them wear club uniforms to a certain extent, club kit, going to away games or going to home games, because they used to turn up however they wanted. So he started to instill a little bit of discipline in the team. I'm not saying that goes onto the pitch as well, but I personally think it's nice to see. He's trying to stamp down on it. He's trying to make them more professional. He's trying to have a discipline in the team, and let's hope he continues to get the results. So it makes La Liga very, very exciting this year.